This happens. All of a sudden, I genuinely hope, I was like, oh my God, I feel like a part of my heart just got ripped out. It was the weirdest.
Ashley Elleren's terrible and disturbing murder is one of those real crime tales that profoundly affects everybody who hears it. In addition to its horrifying character, this case is notable for the participation of a young Ashton Kutcher, who was then associated with Ashley. Much public attention and conjecture have been focused on the horrific circumstances surrounding Ashley's murder, especially when it was discovered that the murderer was serial killer Michael Gargiulo, popularly known as the Hollywood Ripper. Ashley was a lively and talented young lady in Hollywood, and her night on February 21, 2001 began like any other. Ashley was a vibrant, energetic fashion student with enormous goals ahead of her. Ashton Kutcher, who had just gained popularity due to his appearance in the television series That 70s Show, was to meet her that evening. Ashley and Ashton were reportedly going on a date that evening and had been dating for a short while. However, something abandoned their date. Ashley's roommate didn't learn the terrible reality until the next morning when he got home. Ashley was brutally killed and her corpse was discovered inside the flat. In what can only be characterized as a frantic assault, she had been stabbed 47 times. Ashley had just showered and was obviously getting ready for her night out when she was attacked and killed, making the crime scene very gory. Ashley Elleren's murder was a devastating blow to her friends, family, and acquaintances. The likelihood that her murderer knew her well soon became a focus of the inquiry. Investigators assumed the murderer had some link to Ashley or had managed to get past security measures since her property was double-gated. Detectives soon started questioning Ashley's closest friends and family, including Ashton Kutcher. Didn't feel right when Ashton got to her residence. Ashton felt a peculiar uneasiness as soon as he approached Ashley's house, situated in a hip Hollywood area. He spotted what he first believed to be crimson wine spilled on the floor close to the entrance as he peered through a window. But as he looked more closely, he saw that the liquid was blood, not wine. Although it was understandable that Ashton was startled, his reaction was a little odd. He thought Ashley had either fled the scene or gone out with someone else, so he didn't notify the police right away. He didn't do any more research or touch anything. In retrospect, this choice could be seen as dubious, but Ashton subsequently acknowledged that he regretted it. It was a terrible error on Ashton's part to believe that Ashley had just. Because of his friendship with Ashley and the fact that he had been at her home that evening, Kutcher was questioned by police. He admitted to investigators that he had been to her residence but had fled without contacting the police after seeing the blood. After extensive questioning, he was ultimately excluded as a suspect. Even still, the peculiar circumstances surrounding his behavior that evening sparked a lot of public conjecture and continued to raise eyebrows. But the case would remain unresolved for years, and it wasn't until 2008 that fresh information about the inquiry came to light. The true murderer was Michael Gargiulo, who was then residing in the Los Angeles region. Gargiulo was a known predator with a disturbing history of stalking women and committing violent attacks. Ashley's murder was one of many Gargiulo had committed over the years. Working in the background, Gargiulo, who earned the moniker Hollywood Ripper due to his crimes in the entertainment capital of the world, had already been linked to the murders of other women, including Maria Bruno in 2005 and Trisha Pacaccio in 1993, long before he was eventually arrested. His modus operandi was disturbingly consistent. He would stalk his victims, often entering their homes in the dead of night, and attack them with a knife. In Ashley's case, he had apparently been watching her for some time before finally striking. What makes Gargiulo's connection to Ashley Elleren's death even more disturbing is the fact that he had a history of living near or even stalking women who lived in the same areas. Ashley was no exception. She was just one of the many women who had unknowingly crossed paths with this cold-blooded killer. The connection between the Hollywood Ripper and his victims grew clearer as investigators pieced together evidence, and it was ultimately Gargiulo's DNA that linked him to Ashley's murder. As the investigation into Gargiulo's past unfolded, it became clear that he was a serial killer who had evaded capture for years, using his ability to blend into the background of Los Angeles life to avoid suspicion. The revelation that he was behind multiple unsolved murders was enough to horrify the public and leave many asking how he had been able to slip through the cracks for so long. In 2020, Gargiulo was finally convicted of Ashley Elleren's murder as well as the murders of his other victims. His trial was a long-awaited moment of justice, but for many it felt like too little too late. Ashton Kutcher, who had remained deeply affected by the tragedy, has since spoken out about the case, offering his condolences and continuing to support efforts to prevent further violence against women. In the end, the murder of Ashley Elleren was not just the story of one young woman's untimely death, but also a chilling reminder of the hidden dangers lurking in the shadows, sometimes right in front of us, behind the masks that others wear. Given Ashton's role in all of this dubious behavior, it's entirely possible that people are wondering if he knew more than he admitted or if he was under pressure. What even went through his mind when he saw the wine? There are a lot of questions, but not enough answers. The police focused on the fact that whoever killed Ashley knew her well because the location was double-gated. They eventually apprehended the suspect, a creepy Hollywood ripper who was extremely hardcore and would stalk his victims, and it was all just like in those Spines. Terrifying criminal dramas, this entire event has everyone enamored, and it reminds them of some sinister Hollywood secrets. When Ashley found out that Ashley had been murdered, he freaked out, but he also knew that his fingerprints were on her door. Oh no, again, when the news broke, many fans were wondering, what's Ashton's story? Ashton is known as a charming actor and a very intelligent businessman. Could he really be involved in something so black and white? His entire vibe is usually so squeaky clean. And with everything returning to the surface, people are delving deeply into what transpired in the past, and concerns start to appear on social media. Did Ashton just oversimplify things when he left the scene? Why, guy, why is this tale unquestionable? There's a lot of juiciness and gloom combined with a genuine criminal nightmare and celebrity life merging. Everybody has an opinion, and Ashton supporters are left wondering aloud whether Ashton and everyone else are rooting for him. We're completely taken by surprise by this scary film from Hollywood. Although Ashton continues to help victims through his work, this mind-bending story lingers, kind of a thorn in his side. It's creepy but fascinating, so wild. This is what thriller movies are made of? Rumors have been circulating about Ashton Kutcher and a strange incident from years ago, and fans can't get rid of the feeling that something about his behavior on the night of Ashley's murder doesn't add up. So in 2019, Ashton finds himself in the news again, not for a blockbuster film, but as a key witness in Michael Gouleau's trial. He testified about how he freaked out when he found out about Ashley's death, saying that his fingerprints were all over her front door and that he remembered thinking the red stains he saw on her carpet were just wine spills. However, many fans couldn't help but raise eyebrows at how casual he appeared to be about what turned out to be blood, according to some conspiracy theorists. Even though Gouleau was ultimately found guilty, some people are still wondering why Ashton didn't call the police when he saw such a disturbing scene, and why it seemed like it took him almost 2 hours to get to Ashley's house after their phone call. Some have even conjectured that Ashton may have had more information than he left on. In a bizarre turn of events, Ashton's role on the night of Ashley's death continues to pique curiosity and suspicion. There are rumors that Ashton's long-standing partner and wife Mila Kunis have been planning her departure from the marriage for weeks. Rumors have circulated that Mila and Ashton are no longer together, and sources claim that Mila is becoming uncomfortable with Ashton's associations, not only with his deceased ex-girlfriend's troubling circumstances, but also with the notoriously tainted hip-hop mogul Shy Diddy CMS. Could Mila be secretly working with the authorities? If so, she may have discovered something important that could land Ashton in legal hot water, because she's been his partner for years and is probably aware of many of his private affairs. There are even rumors that Mila has spoken with federal investigators and shared important information that could reveal her possible involvement in Diddy Shady's activities. If these rumors are true, Ashton's world could be in danger of collapsing, because so many people are unaware of Ashton Kutcher's long-standing relationship with Shay. Over the years, a roster has come to know Calm's Diddy. Love got its start in the 1990s in New York City. He founded Bad Boy Records in 1993, which later evolved into Bad Boy Entertainment, a major force in the music industry. We're not talking about just any artist though, because he introduced us to the Notorious B, who is still very much known as Christopher Wallace. It seems like this rabbit hole runs deep, with Ashton's name appearing in unexpected places. There's no lack of buzz, and as pieces continue to fall, there's no shortage of buzz into place. Many people are left wondering what will happen to the actor, who seems to be embroiled in a real-life situation that is much more complicated than your typical Hollywood thriller. With rumors circulating and possible connections to big names like Diddy, only time will tell how Ashton handles these difficult waters. People keep forgetting that Puff Daddy had been profiting on Biggie's name for longer than Biggie was alive, and Bad Boy Entertainment was generating millions of dollars. Turned 25, but Biggie didn't even reach that age when he passed away. In addition to his tunes, Puffy was a TV fashion icon that the headlines couldn't get enough of. When you learn that Coles was seeing Ashton Kutcher, things get crazy. Yes, Diddy and Ass were best buddies. Their relationship was peculiar, and they were often seen hanging out while watching football. One day, Ashton arrived, and Puffy said, "I'm going for a run," and Ashton just followed them. During all of this chaos, Ashton and Diddy were inseparable at events, parties, and whatever fancy gatherings came up. In 2010, Ashton was practically a fixture at Diddy's famous Labor Day white parties. In 2010, those swanky whiteout extravaganzas are where the real shenanigans happen behind the scenes. The link-up started with that MTV prank show Punk'd, while Collins was busy producing MTV's Making the Band, where hopeful stars battle for fame. The 100 most powerful people Drew made analogies between them, claiming that Ashton is like the cold yin to his in your face, and he couldn't stop gushing, calling Ashton a sounding board. When we fast forward to 2019, Yang is adorable. Ashton and Sean Evans are sharing details of Diddy's incredible parties while chowing down on spicy wings. With Diddy facing shady allegations like racketeering, Ashton may not be as innocent as he seems to be. He has tales, but he is keeping them under wraps, which is causing rumors about what he could know. Last year, Ashton and Mila were embroiled in controversy after some old video clips surfaced. You may recall the uproar video, which was about Ashton's remarks about waiting for a girl to turn 18. This caused a huge backlash on the internet, particularly after Ashton and Mila stood by their friend Danny Masterson, who was found guilty of 2 counts in May and now faces 30 years to life in prison and must register as a sex offender. Christina Ry wasn't having any of it and called them out, which led to a barrage of revelations about their past. It's disorganized, and the network of links is making everyone wonder about everything. Unfortunately, I've met a number of amazing individuals who look wonderful to me, but turn out to be abusers behind closed doors. Christina let her heart out in bright white text on a dramatic black backdrop. I know from personal experience that it's difficult for victims to come forward, and it's much more difficult to obtain a conviction. She added more. Even people we consider to be great guys can be predators. It's difficult to accept, but if we claim to support victims, women, children, men, and boys, then we must stand firm. It's shocking when people we love and admire do terrible things. They may never have shown that side to us, but that doesn't mean it didn't happen. Although Christina didn't mention specific names, her tweet had strong indications that it was directed at the well-known duo Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis, who are embroiled in a flurry of scandal and have come under fire for their unwavering support of when Masterson was found guilty back in May. Ashton and Mila sent letters to the Los Angeles Superior Court's judge, Charlene Allo, requesting mercy. The Hollywood Reporter was able to get their letters from July and August. Ashton said Masterson was a shining example of moral behavior and gave him credit for keeping him away from narcotics. According to Ashton, whenever we saw someone who used drugs, he made it obvious that they weren't suitable companions. In her message, Mila said that Masterson was similar to an remarkable elder brother to her, and she commended his drug avoidance, which motivated her to abstain from narcotics. Throughout my career in entertainment, Danny's dedication to leading a drug-free lifestyle has been a guiding light, assisting me in putting my health and decision-making first. At the beginning of the heat, the friends of the benefit celebrity shared in response. The married pair released a combined video apology on the internet on a sweltering Saturday, revealing that Masterson's family had come to them and requested character letters signifying their 25 years of acquaintance with Danny. A few months ago, we received a request from Danny's family requesting us to write character letters for the individual we've known for 25 years so the court would take it into consideration. Ashton clarified that the purpose of these letters was to be seen by the judge alone and not to cast doubt on the victim's testimony. Critics quickly flocked to social media to voice their displeasure with what many believe to be well-written apologies. Reporter Yashar Ali emphasized that the letters in question were full of Scientology jargon and seemed to be intended to disparage the victims who were allegedly drugged by Danny Masterson. They weren't merely comments to a friend's character. Another person mocked the apology as being more about the public's reaction than sincere regret, making it seem as though Ashton and Mila were still willing to stand by their troublesome friend in court. The IR wasn't lost on fans, especially given Ashton's behavior. Involvement in a charity that fights child exploitation. Kutcher co-founded Thorn with his ex-wife Demi Moore, an organization that collaborates with law enforcement and tech firms to fight child trafficking in the digital era. Christina Aguilera appeared on Instagram stories to address the criticism when a fan pointed out the contradiction between protecting someone accused of exploitation and speaking out against it. She clarified that she wasn't. She acknowledged that recent events had caused her to pause, specifically addressing Kutcher. She clarified for her 1.6 million followers that her remarks were more general in nature, reflecting on the challenges of reconciling well-known people with their alleged actions, but she also acknowledged that the recent controversy had in fact caused her to reflect more deeply. The remarks made by Christina, especially the way she described undermining victims as a crime, attracted speculation from certain fans that she could be implying that Ashton and Mila should be held accountable for aiding Masterson as well. As the narrative deepens and it seems that people are starting to doubt Ashton's innocence, one fan concurred, claiming that their apology was insufficient and that they should be punished. One of the accusers of Danny Masterson by resurfacing an old film of Ashton Kutcher that hasn't held up over time, Chrissy Bixler, who formerly dated him and subsequently accused him of abuse, went one step further and said there could be more to learn about his personality. A tangled web of past associations may have come back to haunt those involved, leaving Kutcher and Kunis with a damaged public image and a barrage of questions from both fans and critics. The footage is now stirring speculation that Ashton isn't as blameless as he's portrayed himself to be. Bixler's move has raised doubts about whether Ashton might have missed or disregarded warning signs because of his friendship with Masterson. Hello, Ashton. I just wanted to let you know that I'm aware of you're no better than your mentor, in my opinion. On February 21, 2001, your girlfriend Ashley Ellerin was tragically killed in her Hollywood Hills apartment. You called her multiple times and even went to her place, where you saw what you thought was red wine but was actually blood. Presuming she wasn't home, you left. That night, you called Danny. Yes, I was there and I heard everything. Later, Michael Garrow called Hollywood Ripper was convicted of her terrible demise. Interestingly, Chrissy also shared a number of old clips of Ashton and his wife Mila Kunis interacting, including one from when Hilary Duff appeared on Ashton's show, Punk'd, in which he introduced 15-year-old Hilary as someone everyone was waiting to turn. Another clip featured Ashton and Mila remembering their first kiss on set when they first met people. Chrissy even reached out to Mila, saying she hopes Mila begins processing her childhood experiences on set. The internet is exploding. We need more of these cancellations, one fan remarked, demanding for Ashton to be canceled. In addition to the fact that Ashton Kutcher and Danny were obviously snooping on these young girls in the tapes, another user said that it was terrible both then and now, and Mila Kunis' abrupt silence over the Diddy issue is raising eyebrows. There are reports that she and Ashton may be divorcing, according to sources. Mila is concerned about Ashton's relationship with Diddy since the FBI is allegedly looking into Diddy's associates. Given that she has been by Ashton's side for so long, Mila may be working with authorities behind the scenes. But it wouldn't be shocking if she is separating from him to protect herself, particularly if she knows something that could put him in legal hot water. Some rumors even claim that Mila has been speaking with federal investigators, possibly disclosing important information that could expose Ashton's role in Diddy's ambiguous feelings, if that is Ashton's world. May be about to undergo a significant upheaval. Yes, the world of celebrity drama is getting crazy. Diddy, the man who has been in the news a lot lately, may have had everything fall apart. He was arrested and imprisoned, and now the rumor is that he is refusing to eat because he is afraid he has been poisoned. Yes, we are hearing rumors that he may be worried that someone is trying to contaminate his food while he is imprisoned. This might become similar to certain well-known people who were Epsteined or removed and presented as having injured themselves. Because his testimony could reveal some of the most sinister secrets in the entertainment industry, those close to the scene believe Diddy's paranoia is out of control. In addition to causing a stir by implying that Diddy is sitting on some big information about individuals with deep business, former prisoner Larry Levine did nothing to quell the notion that Diddy could not be eating at all because of concern that someone is tampering with his meals. There are pockets that would prefer to see him in silence than to have their secrets revealed. Marky, Kevin Hart, Mark, Snoop Dogg, DJ Kale, and DJ Kale are all involved in this Circle C, whether they like it or not. There is disagreement over whether Diddy is being paranoid or if something much more significant is going on, and the timing certainly raises eyebrows because Diddy's testimony is anticipated soon, and there are rumors that it could cause a tsunami in the industry. His fan base is anxious, and Rex fears he might not make it. Diddy's legal team said they have good reasons to push for Diddy's release from federal jail while awaiting trial. They are pleading with the appeals court to pause one of the appeals so they can present some fresh information to Judge Aaron Subban, given how other well-known people met mysterious ends just before they were supposed to spill some tea in court on Monday. And a federal appeals court has an oral argument scheduled for November 4th regarding Diddy's case. Holding in the midst of all this legal drama over the weekend, Diddy's lawyers even asked Judge Subban to prevent prospective witnesses and their attorneys from discussing the allegations in public. The defense is arguing that since at least 25 civil lawsuits against Diddy have surfaced since November 2023, bringing accusations of misconduct and other dubious allegations, it could jeopardize Diddy's right to a fair trial. His former partner Cassie Ventura brought the first complaint, but it was quickly resolved. However, there are still some open cases. Naturally, Diddy refutes every allegation that prosecutors are very busy, pointing out that their criminal probe hasn't slowed down in the slightest and that they may press charges or even add additional defendants. Plenty of drama.